Christmas Wonderland is one of that films that could have gone either way. It could have been really, really good, really enjoyable, or it could have been not that interesting. And honestly, I was wrong. It's kind of middle of the road. I did really enjoy it, but there were aspects of it where I thought it was slow to progress and I wasn't that bothered about the characters' outcomes. So actually, while I expected it to be one or the other, it's kind of just in the middle. But I feel like that actually worked really well for what I was in the mood for. So I watched this on Netflix. It was released in 2018. And it's directed by Sean Olson and written by Jake Cipriani and Anna White. And honestly, it's a pretty typical Christmas story. So the description is as follows. Heidi, who initially left her small town of Pleasant Valley with the dream of one day becoming a successful painter, has put her own art on hold to excel as an art gallery curator. Now, a week before the gallery's big Christmas party, she must return home to watch her niece and nephew. The description on IMDb is a lot longer. I'm not going to read it all. Basically, she has to leave behind the world that she knows to go back to her hometown to look after her niece and nephew. And as with any classic Hallmark film, while she's there, she's realising that the life she has may not be the life that she wants. And there's some old flames, some old sparks flying. And after that point, it basically follows the classic Hallmark Christmas blueprint of girl meets boy or re-meets boy, romance blooms, but will it work for them? And this is all done on the backdrop of Christmas. Now, the first thing I need with this kind of film is there to be a lot of Christmas. And I will say there are a lot of festivities in this. We have a lot of decorations. One of Heidi, the protagonist, one of Heidi's primary roles in this is to help set up for the school dance and kind of decorate this wonderland. So we have a lot of Christmas decor and wintry themes. We have a lot of lovely Christmas colours, greens and reds and kind of frosty blues. Visually, it's an absolute delight, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And, to look at, definitely put me in the mood for Christmas. The fact that she's looking after her niece and nephew, Tom and Katie, played by Jacob, Buster, and Trinity Roberts, respectively, obviously brings that childlike, youthful innocence. And when you have it in a Christmas film, it's always going to give off at least a little bit of Christmas magic, that youthful innocence that most of us had as a child. And that works really well as well, so I was very happy with that aspect. So far, I'm being very positive. Where are the problems? Well, as I said, there were no kind of real problems as such. There are just aspects where I wasn't that bothered. I guess the biggest problem is the fact that it took a good 15-20 minutes to set up and get to the point. And considering the film itself is, well, it's about 2 hours, I think. It's one of the longer Christmas films. But I still think it spent a bit more time than it should have done setting up and getting to the point. But once we got there, I felt like the pacing was at a really good rate, and the character development that went alongside that was nice and steady. Nobody, I felt, had any actions that were out of the ordinary or atypical of what one would expect of that character. It felt natural, and I was really happy with that. I will be honest, Heidi is a character who's played by Emily Osment, who is actually the sister of Haley Joel Osment, just a random fact. I liked her performance. I liked her performance a lot. I thought the character was quite likeable, but I wasn't that bothered about her. Sometimes you'll get a character in a Hallmark film where you really feel for them and you're really rooting for them and you really want the film to end well for them. With Heidi, I wanted her to do well, but I wasn't bothered if she was going to go back to her current life or stay in Pleasant Valley, or if her relationship was going to work out. I wasn't really that bothered. I didn't want bad to come to her, but I wasn't going to be brokenhearted if it didn't work out. Obviously, this is a Hallmark film. Was I that concerned? No, not at all. Yeah, there wasn't anything bad about this film at all. Nothing that I felt was uncomfortable to watch or unnatural or unexpected. Everything flowed nicely. It's a nice typical Christmas film, very festive, some likeable characters, some characters I wasn't that bothered about, some youthful innocence, Christmas magic. If you're looking for a Christmas film that you haven't seen and you just want something that's going to feel warm and fuzzy and put you in the festive mood, I think Christmas Wonderland will do that. It's not a groundbreaking film. I probably won't go out of my way to watch it again. But I don't regret the time I spent watching it. It's not that bad.